Ladies and gentlemen and ladies, I am writing a song, and the song is about me. And it's called I'm So Proud. Now, the reason why it's called I'm So Proud, it's not I'm so proud, I'm arrogant. No, I'm so proud because I was reflecting this morning. It's been, a, it's been an interesting 2 days because I am now seeing things from a much different light. I don't know what to tell you how it happened, but it's perspective. Okay, a lot of people are sad, a lot of people are miserable, a lot of people are worried, a lot of people are stressed, and they don't realize they're doing it to themselves. Well, I tell people I don't have any worries. Now, hold on. Yeah, I have things that I should be concerned about, could be concerned about, might need to take care of, but I take care of things as they come. I take care of the most important things first, and I don't worry about the dumb stuff. Now, let's see if I could better help you understand. I help other people with their problems. I have at least 5 people doing a second consult because, pay attention, they didn't follow the information given them originally, especially those who have court cases. They were afraid of the judge. Well, the judge might get mad. The judge might not like it. The judge might get upset. The attorney convinced me. I can't help that, ladies and gentlemen. Used to be in that position. I used to be terrified that, oh, if I put this in, the judge might do this, and the judge. I don't give a about what the judge might do anymore because I know I can go after that judge if they step over that line. See, the judge can't retaliate against you under any circumstances. You must know the word impartial prohibits them from being partial. So they cannot single you out. And the moment they do, even in their words, you can go after them. They scared everybody with passing that so called statute in 1996. No, excuse me, 2006, under Bush, the Prison Litigation Act. That's the one that says that you can't file claims against public officials and put liens on their things. Ladies and gentlemen, most people never read it. They just read the title, Prison Litigation. And they think they're going to go to prison if they put a lien on somebody's things. You can put a lien on anybody's property, your mama's property, your daddy's property. However, the way for a lien to be a legitimate filing is there must be a controversy. So you must document the controversy. You must document the claim. You must document the damage. Once you do that, man, nobody can stop you because you have the right to petition for redress. Putting a lien on somebody's things is your right to petition for redress. It's hard for people to understand these little simple things because they don't look at they look at the whole picture. Everybody sees the whole canvas, but they don't see the canvas. Everybody sees the entire canvas, all of the paint, all of the strokes, and they examine it and they look to see what type of paint was used and how the strokes were applied to the canvas. And they don't look at the canvas. Without the canvas, there's no painting. So Congress makes all of these statutes, and people believe that they're laws, but they don't look at the foundation. Remember, the First Amendment prohibits Congress, the courts, or the executive branch from blocking your right to complain. Your right to petition for redress of grievance is absolute. Nobody can interfere with that. No one. I can't, your grandmother can't, your grandfather can't, you can't even interfere with your right to petition for redress of grievance because it's absolute. Look at the First Amendment. It says Congress shall make no law. There's no law against it. They can't make a law against it. So don't worry about the statutes that Congress passed because if it's a petitioning of redress that is involved, that statute is inapplicable. But again, we didn't do this video to talk about this. I am creating a song with the EEON.tv channel. This will be up where we're hoping run into a snag at the end of November. The last 3 weeks, there have been a significant issue with the setting up of the site, but we have gotten past that. And now we're working on the AI system and working on the chat because we're going to do our own what do you call that? Open source chat and not rely on Chat GPT. Okay, we're going to have the Covington Law. You better believe we're going to have Covington Law. And you're going to have access to that on the EON channel, so you don't have to go to Chat GPT. We're going to pay. Okay, now the EON channel will be some of it a subscription service. A lot of it will be free because you know me. But anyway, we'll talk about that in another video. I want to talk about the I'm So Proud song. So I'm going to pause you guys because I'm getting ready to create the song. All right. Now, sorry. Let me go ahead and clear my throat, Dougie Fresh, Bismarcky. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the essence of this is I grew up, my father died when I was 15. He was an entrepreneur and he was a sole proprietor. He wasn't the only one at that time who was a sole proprietor because society forced him to be a sole proprietor. Hey, it's just the way they treated black men. It's okay. Hold on now. Let me explain. He wasn't just your ordinary sole proprietor. My father knew everything that I know, literally. And when I say that, the stuff that I talk about is the same stuff he talked about with his friends. So, for those of you who don't understand, I didn't learn anything from quote unquote YouTube or the internet. I've been around this all my life. As I said, when my brothers and sisters were playing, I was the loner. I was the isolated child. I was the one who chose to be alone, who chose to listen to the adults while they talked. I promise you, everybody treated me like I was, oh, please, he ain't paying attention to us. He's off in his own little world. He had no idea. I wasn't in nobody's little world. I was listening to what they were saying and trying to figure things out. And that's why I would ask questions later, but my questions would never be direct because I didn't want them to know that I was listening to their conversation. Because you know how adults are when you listen to adult conversation. That was an adult conversation. You're not supposed to be listening to that. And then they mind you after that, and you can't get nowhere near their conversation. Well, I wasn't a dumb child. Okay. So I would always pose my questions. Now, I know he knew the way I was asking the questions, and I know he understood. That's why it got to the point later, because this was about 7, 8 years old that it started. But later, well, actually started when I was younger than that, but that's when I started paying attention. It was about 7, 8 years old. When I got to 10, 11, 12 years old, okay, that's when, okay, you can sit here, you can listen, but don't interrupt. You can't speak. If you speak, you're gonna be leaving. We're gonna make you leave. And I didn't want to leave, so I sat there and I was quiet and I listened. You can gain a lot of information when you listen. Some of you know that already. Well, that was my father. My mother, being a single mother, she wasn't a single mother. My father was not an absentee father. Like I said, my father made it a point to make sure he was a part of our lives and was in our lives every single day. He either came by every single day or called. And we received more visits than we received calls, okay? But he made it a point. Even if he came by, he still, when he got home, he called us. He kept in touch with us. My father had more than 13 kids. All right? We were the youngest set. And he made sure he was in our lives. That's why I could talk about him to this day. You don't hear me saying nothing bad about my father. And then there were a lot of other people who had bad things to say. And me and my father didn't get along. Okay? But that's okay because, uh-oh, that's the children. Shut it up. 7 o'clock, everyone. Me and my father didn't get along because we had the same personality. My mother said the same thing. My mother kept telling me that all my life. The reason why y'all didn't get along because y'all just like each other. You were just like that no good mother. Sorry. She didn't say that often, but she did say that on occasion when because he was gone and she missed him. And I realized it then and I realize it now. That's why I had to tell my mother one day, I think I was about 17 years old, because she kept talking about how I was just like him. And I told her, I said, if I was anything like that man, I am proud to be his son. So, full circle, ladies and gentlemen, I am proud. I am so proud to be the son of that woman and that man, my parents. I am their offspring. And here's the thing, although people didn't know it, they were proud of me. The day before my father died, he told this to all of his friends about me. Now, of course, he was proud of his other children, but he told them that my being around him that day before he died, because we hadn't been around each other for over 6 months, but my being around him that day, my choice, not his, made it the proudest day of his life. He said that it was the best day of his life. He told that to his friends. Now, my brothers and sisters don't know that. One of my sisters do because she was around some of his friends when they said it, but the rest of them didn't know because they would have gotten jealous. He wasn't saying that I was his favorite. He was saying that he saw I made the choice. He saw that it was my choice, my decision. So the young man was proud of me because he saw that I was growing, that I was becoming who I am. Now, don't get me wrong, I am proud of being me. Sorry, we're loading up Visual Studios, and Visual Studios say, hey, homie, we updated now. And I'm like, Visual, man, you all right. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, I have to put you guys on pause while I put the song together. Gotta go. I know we'll be right back, but pause nonetheless. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, um, listen, I'm gonna let it play. It's 3 minutes long. Probably won't let it go the whole time. I'm gonna narrate. Why? Because it's a story being told in our library in the background. This is the reason. Stop listening. Okay, let me turn that completely off. Does that for whatever dumb reason. Anyway, we're gonna make this bigger because oh, I gotta do it over here. I was on the wrong one. You know what I mean, Vern? I was on the wrong one. Now this is the reason. Because here's the thing. The reason why I was doing I'm so proud, because I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses. Now Jehovah's Witnesses is some of the weirdest people on the planet. I'll get with you in a moment. Weirdest people on the planet. Why? Because they come from all walks of life. Most people are not born Jehovah's Witnesses. Jehovah's Witnesses are individuals who become Jehovah's Witnesses, all walks of life. So you have all of these different personalities from all over the world. Lord have mercy. You're going to have a mixed bag. But the one thing about Jehovah's Witnesses that I will tell you that I am so proud to be associated with, they love people. They go out of their way to help their neighbor. That's their primary focus. Yeah. Some Jehovah's Witnesses are not the happiest. Some Jehovah's Witnesses are not the most polite. Some Jehovah's Witnesses are this. Some Jehovah's Witnesses are that. But guess what? Some of you are the same way. Some of you have the same attitude. Some of you have the same emotions. Some of you, they are people. They're not perfect, although they are trying. They are not perfect. So give them a break. Now, here's the thing. For years, everybody made fun of Jehovah's Witnesses, talked about them because they didn't celebrate holidays. Well, we're in an era right now where people are now starting not to celebrate holidays. Yeah, they'll participate in the festivities, but they will let you know, I don't celebrate holidays. I don't believe in that. You'll hear people say things like that. Now, hold on now. Let's do this right because we can't do it wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, why is that? Let me ask that question again. Why is that? Why is it all of a sudden that nobody celebrates holidays anymore? Oh, because they put out disinformation. See, they made you hate religion. They'll talk about this religion and the abuses that happen in that religion, and now you're supposed to hate all religion, or you're supposed to hate that religion in its entirety because of the mistakes. Yes, mistakes, but it was on purpose. It's still called a mistake that some of those people did. The same mistakes that they perpetuated. They're the ones who promoted that type of conduct, ladies and gentlemen. They're the ones who promoted that type of activities. Who is the they? The powers that be, the system, the Illuminati, and the so called Freemasons. You don't believe me? Go back and look at their history. That's what they used to practice. Remember, this is a Roman based government in America, Roman based government. Well, go back and understand what they did in Rome. The exact same stuff. So the idea was to put out sci-fi and all of these shows talking about agnosticism and talking against religion and saying I don't know what to believe in and all of that stuff. And now that's what you got. You have a generation. And that's why there's this push to try to force people to get back into religion, to get back into the Bible, and all that doesn't work that way, ladies and gentlemen. The very same people who are sitting up here talking about we need to go back to this and we need to go back, those are the very same ones who were talking about we need to get that out of the schools. It has no place in the school. Well, look, what a tangled web we weave. Okay, you cannot sit up there and propagate something and then come back and say, "Oh, I don't like how that turned out." Okay, can we get a redo? Let's do a reset. It doesn't work that way. This is the results of their actions. I see a lawless society. I see a godless society. I see godless people everywhere I go because people don't understand who he is no more. They think God is an object or a thing. Some people believe that he doesn't exist. Some people believe that he does. Hold on. Don't you understand? Okay, when you go look in the mirror, does it matter whether or not somebody believes you exist or not? It has something to do with their belief. Whether you exist or not is a fact. You don't need somebody's opinion. So why do people think their opinion about God matters? The moment you mention, well, I don't believe, who cares what you believe in? Sorry, your beliefs ain't got nothing to do with the truth. That's all I had to say on that subject. I just wanted to let you know that's why I was doing I'm So Proud. And then it morphed into my parents. Because if it weren't for my parents, I told you at the age of 3, my parents are the ones who told me about Jehovah. Yeah, they might have mentioned and talked about him prior to that, but that was the first time. Remember, nobody else is around. My other 7 brothers and sisters, 6 brothers and sisters, a total of 7, they are upstairs. They're the ones who are picking on me. So they're not going to come downstairs because I came downstairs crying. So they're not going to follow me downstairs in that conversation. So that conversation was supposed to be, attention, the 3 of us. Just the 3 of us. We can make it if we try. Anyway, so for them to introduce me to that person, and then that person and I have conversations for the rest of my life and provides me proof. All right, segue with me just for a second. We're going to segue for just for a second before I play the song that I chose to play for you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, I was listening to a TikTok video the other day, and that TikTok video was specific to a husband and wife. Now, give me a second. I have to go move something, and I'll be right back with the story about the husband and wife. And the married couple, they were getting ready to leave to go to dinner, and then they were going to come back home and watch a movie. So the husband, as they're getting ready to get into the car, he notices, he says, "Oh, look, 6:45." And she said he gave a look like, "Why did I say that?" And she says, "Yeah, 6:45." And so they left. They went to dinner, which they said took about 15, 20 minutes. Then they drove back home and they watched a movie. And the husband gets up and he says, he pauses the movie and he says, "Wait a minute." And she says, "What's going on?" He says, "It's 7:30." She says, "Yeah." He says, "No, you don't understand. It's 7:30." She says, "Yes, it's 7:30." He says, "Well, we left at 6:45 and we Went and we ate, and that took about 20 minutes. And then we came back home and we watched this movie, and we've been watching and take a look at the screen. We've been watching for over an hour, and it's only 7:30. And they couldn't explain that. Ladies and gentlemen, I told people about how my friend Larry and I were talking, and we were being specific. I was explaining to him an experience that I had that was that important, and I needed to explain it to him because he was at that time my best friend. And I explained it to him. We talked, and we knew we had been talking for over 3 hours. I mean, it literally was that type of conversation, a lot of details. And when we looked at the clock, we had only found that an hour had gone by. He looked at me and says, I know that we've been talking for longer than an hour. I said, I know, I've been trying to tell you. So I told people that particular morning I left home. I was running late. I had to be to court at 9 a.m. I left home at 7:50 in rush hour traffic. It takes at least 30 minutes in rush hour traffic in Los Angeles to get from where I was to downtown. Then I had to park, get out of the car, get up the elevators after going through the metal detectors, get into the courtroom. Ladies and gentlemen, I made it there in 8 minutes. Made it in the courtroom in 8 minutes. Impossible. You can go drive that route right now doing the speed limit and you won't make it there in 8 minutes. Guaranteed. And to park, find a parking spot, and I ended up finding a parking spot right in front of the court building on a Monday morning. To put money in the meter, to cross the street, to go through the metal detectors, then to go up the elevators, which is always crowded. And if you've ever been to the traffic building in Los Angeles during the 90s, one thing you will understand, this was actually, you know, year 2000, well, 2001. Okay, there was a line. You can't get on the elevator because it's too many people. So you have to wait in line just to get on the elevator. Some of y'all understand what type of building we're talking about. I made it there in 8 minutes. So I am glad to have heard there are other people who've had similar experiences because now it doesn't sound so out of the ordinary because I call it losing time. Now I experience losing time two aspects. One, that right there. Another, where hours will go by, and I cannot explain where those hours went. Okay, that right there is the most irritating one. All right, but here we go. Let me play the song for you if you guys don't mind.
Her hands were calloused, her spirit worn. Still she faced the heartbreak of loss. Alone she bore the weight of 7 children, a steady rhythm, no option given. When the nights grew cold, her determination held heat. A quiet fortress no storm could possibly defeat. She built a life from fragments and dust. They taught me that faith was more than just trust. And I see the resurrection rise
Now, ladies and gentlemen,
in the hope that never
Sono
dies.
created the original lyrics.
A promise carved in sacred script,
I told Sono what to write,
the greatest truth I've ever known.
but then I came in
They stood
and I
tall,
changed
those shadows
lyrics to fit what
fell,
I wanted to
believing
tell.
in the future, the hope, a promise. The echoes of my father's voice, faint but steady, realizing I made the choice to carry on what he left behind. Being faithful, serving with truth, the tide that binds. Having studied those stories of brighter days, explaining who was the truth, the life, and the way. With every burden they softly bore, and they showed me true love was worth fighting for. And I see the resurrection rise, a sign of hope that was in
No,
their
most
eyes,
people won't understand.
a promise carved in sacred script,
I believe wholly
the greatest
and
truth I've ever unkept.
one-heartedly
They stood in
in the resurrection.
humility,
I
they
tell people I would not be alive
remained,
if it were not for that
believing
hope,
that what they would
because I would have given up a
be
long time ago.
of
A
greater
long time ago.
gain.
Ladies and
The
gentlemen,
world may never say either of their names. No crowds
do
will
you hear that
cheer,
right there?
no halls
Nobody
proclaim,
else may know
but in their
anything
struggle,
about my
they
mother and father,
revealed the
but
true
they left
light,
a legacy.
stating that no matter what happened, continue the fight. Because of this world, they could not achieve much.
My mother and
Because of
father
their
were not trying
love,
to be
we
rich.
achieved it all.
Exactly.
And now I walk not in the shadow of
They
death,
didn't just
I
accept.
walk in the shadow of the love two of them left. And I see the resurrection hope rise, in the hope that never.
Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for allowing me to share that with you. You see, we live in a world right now where people don't really appreciate each other. Families don't appreciate their children, and children don't appreciate their families. Go ahead, go and take a look. Everybody, they have that, well, I'm supposed to act this way, or I'm supposed to be this way, or I'm supposed to think this way. That's the attitude that people have. Now, I can't stay on. I have one dog, and that particular dog is getting on my nerves right now because he's literally blocking the other one from eating. Well, she is blocking the other one from eating, and I'm getting tired of it. So I'm gonna take care of it. Yes, I have a way of taking care of it. I've done it before. It's a routine with dogs. She's territorial, and I knew she was gonna be territorial. So I'm an unterritorial her. Because family. What can you do with them? What can you do without them? So, ladies and gentlemen, the title of that song is "I Am So Proud," and it's not meant for you guys. It is meant for me. I am proud of being one of Jehovah's Witnesses, but I'm also proud that he allowed me to have those two as parents because had it not been for them, I would not be who I am. Whether or not somebody else appreciates me, I don't care. I like the person I am. Do you know what that means? When you can accept yourself, I like the person that I am. I am proud of the person that I have become. So while I remain proud, I'm going to have to go on out here and take some pride away from somebody else. And I got to go and get their leashy beashy so that it can understand that I'm not playing that. You know what I mean? All right. Y'all take care. We going to talk soon. And arrivederci, 28 minutes and 58 seconds. Gotta go.